My lovely imps, something strange has happened. Something beautiful has happened. Today, Joe Biden resigned as the nominee of the Democratic Party after a number of horrific public flubs. The undeniable truth has finally been accepted. And let me tell you, the spin doctors, the MAGA concern trolls, the liars, the cheats, the frauds are not having a good time today. And as a result, I wanted to make sure that we gave due sensitivity to the very people that have been lying to our faces, gaslighting about what's before our eyes, just completely obfuscating the truth in every single way. I want to give them a moment, okay? Just a moment of thought together, all right? It's important that we show grace in times like these. While the liberals have been smugly condescending to anyone that so much as remotely criticizes Joe Biden, and the Republicans have been all of a sudden the biggest supporters of Biden ever, we've been sitting here in the anti-gaslighting zone over here on Demon Mama, enjoying the truth, enjoying seeing with our own eyes and not having a bunch of nonsense dumped at us. But today, we're gonna shed a tear, okay? For those who've been working so hard for Biden in this moment of great loss. So please join me, okay? I have prepared a little slideshow for us to enjoy together. Donald Trump. Elon Musk. Who could have believed? Mike Johnson. Wall Street Silver. Just... Cat turd? Joe Biden defender? Oh, the beauty. I mean, the sadness. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I meant the sadness. I'm very sorry. I meant to be respectful there. I'm so very sorry. Of course, I know that that was a very rapid slideshow, and I'm sure many of you are going to want to see some of the specifics. So don't worry. We'll go over some of the funniest ones we've got in there in just a second. But I wanted us to just take a moment and give them their time for their sorrow. You know, their genuine sadness. They've shown so much grace to us over the months that, you know, how could we not? Now, of course, in there you might have noticed that we had names such as Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Cat Turd. All of a sudden, Cat Turd and Elon Musk are extremely, extremely concerned with the integrity of DNC processes and bylaws. It's just wild. We got Manchin. We got people throwing up Manchin in there that they're saying Manchin should run, should take down Kamala Harris. We got right-wingers saying that it's a coup. We got the Biden accomplishments guy. Oh, look, I gotta show you the Biden accomplishments guy. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's enjoy Biden accomplishments guy, okay? Congratulations to the donors, the media, the white congressmen, and the bedwetters. You guys did what Trump could not. You threw out my vote and the votes of a legally cast election. Congrats. You defended democracy. Don't patronize me with this was his choice. There is no choice in promising him electoral defeat by backstabbing him until election day or forcing him to abandon the nomination that he rightfully won. Joe Biden has more integrity in the tip of his fucking pinky than you have in all your whole worthless bodies. Just because he did this when the other option you presented him was worth does not in any ways make it his choice. So I'm out. This is all your mess to clean up now. Wake me up in October and I'll send in my ballot like a good little boy. But this is no longer my responsibility or my fight. Maybe I'll stop by at points if I feel like it. Maybe I won't. But you've freed me from any sort of obligation or responsibility of it. The Democratic Party is in your hands now. Good luck. You're sure as shit gonna need it. Not being the cuckold allegations when you're just like, yeah, I'll vote anyway, whatever. But I'm done. I'll vote for her, but I'm done. Hold on. It gets better, though. Okay? Cope, Lamau. It's Cop Mala time. And here's Biden accomplishments guy. I've got a lot of free time to fuck your wife now. First election? I've voted in every primary since 2004, and everyone I've voted in, whether my candidate got the most votes or not, the candidate with the most votes was the winner. And then, of course, we got the crowning moment. The crowning moment, of course, being when this guy fucking locked his entire account. Do I have the screenshot of that? I don't think I have. Oh, yeah, I do. After that meltdown, he locked his account. Also, it's incredible because, like, there was barely a primary at all. Some states have to have a primary, but a whole bunch of states just didn't have one at all. Biden loyalist. My primary vote mattered. Bro. The cat turd comments were fantastic. But I like the cat turd one right here. All of a sudden, cat turd so devoted to fair elections. Cat turd says, to save democracy, the Democrat Party just tossed out 15 million Democrat primary votes so a handful of rich Democrat elitist snobs can decide the candidate. Stalin would be proud. Oh yeah, Stalin would be super proud because the fucking already undemocratic Democratic primary didn't go the way you wanted. I wonder, everybody, I wonder what it could be that makes all of these right-wingers, and we're going to see a lot more right-wingers, I wonder what makes them so angry about Joe Biden stepping down. Could it be perhaps that they know that they can win against Joe Biden, but they don't know that they can win against anybody else because Donald Trump is a historically weak candidate? Makes you think just a little bit. Makes you think just a tiny bit. Well, guess what? It's not just Cat Turd who's mad about it, because it's Elon Musk as well. We got Elon Musk over here, pissed as hell. Take a look at this. Now, Elon Musk has been tweeting a lot, but I didn't want to pick all of his repeated tweets that he was sending to so many people today. They just want a puppet that will perform better. The political machine will remain in power. What's different about Trump is that he isn't a puppet of either side, so real government reform is possible. Okay, bro. Remember when Elon Musk was like, I won't endorse a candidate? And then multiple different people on the record asked him if he was going to endorse and donate money to a candidate, and he said he wouldn't. And then he just cucked out 100% to Donald Trump, endorsed Donald Trump, and then donated millions of dollars to Donald Trump's campaign. And then Donald Trump the next day, literally the next day, announced that he's going to end all subsidies for electric vehicles, the predominant beneficiary of that being Elon Musk's company, Tesla. You can't write it better than this. You can't write it better than this. You really can't. But guess what? We got Donald Trump himself, okay? We got Donald Trump himself, okay? So we're forced to spend time and money on fighting crooked Joe Biden. He pulls badly after having a terrible debate and quits the race. Now we have to start all over again. Shouldn't the Republican Party be reimbursed for fraud in that everybody around Joe, including his doctors and the fake news media, knew he was not capable of running for or being president? Just ask it. Now, Donald Trump has a loose grasp of reality at the best of times, but I gotta say this is one of the most nonsensical and deranged things he's ever said. The Republican Party should be reimbursed financially for choosing to run ads against Joe Biden, knowing that it's a real possibility that Joe Biden might not end up being the nominee, and they just made that like what? But you got to look at the sentiment that's underneath, right? Have we seen any of the attack ads that Donald Trump has run against Kamala? Oh, wait, he hasn't. And in fact, he doesn't really have anything to say against Kamala. The only thing we've heard him say is that the other day he made a joke and he said, I call her Laughing Kamala because you heard that laugh? She's a crazy lady. She's very crazy. Laughing Kamala. Nothing. He's got nothing. They were hoping that they would be able to run against a guy whose brain was leaking out his ears, and that was the only way that they knew how to win. Donald Trump and his people know they're in trouble. Laughing Kamala. I call her laughing because she's laughing. She's enjoying her life. I mean, no, she must hate her life. That's why she's laughing so much. This will surely go over well. It's going to be really funny to watch them scramble. This one made me laugh. This guy, a lot of you are not going to be familiar with this guy, and that's okay. This streamer is like a super Biden glazer. Like the biggest Biden glazer I've ever seen, okay? And what's really funny about this one is that he tweeted this without actually checking Joe Biden's feed because Joe Biden had already endorsed Kamala Harris, but he hadn't seen the tweet. So just keep that in mind.
I'm a little bit behind, but I have to fact check your claims against Wick. He made his tweet about Biden dropping out at 10:53 a.m. Pacific, but Biden didn't endorse Kamala until 11:13.
I cannot express my level of disappointment. What comes next? I don't know. He didn't explicitly endorse Harris. This wasn't a handoff, and that worries me even more. When people look back on the 2024 election, I think they'll be able to point to this moment as when we lost. Yeah, not the debate. Not him calling Zelensky Putin on international television. Not him talking about his own vice president as Vice President Donald Trump. None of those moments. Not when he was in an interview, a heavily televised interview, trailed off in the middle of his sentence, looked down at the floor for 10 seconds straight, and then said, anyway. Or maybe the other heavily televised interview where he said, oh, blah, 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 blah. Literally. Come on. The coping has been incredible and, in fact, beautiful to behold. But, of course, the simple reality of all of this is that it's the best thing that the Democrats could have possibly done. There is basically no better decision. There was no other decision to be made. If the Democrats decided to continue running with Joe Biden, who currently has COVID, mind you, a sickness that notoriously impacts your mental function for a significant amount of time after infection, Joe Biden is not going to get better, okay? It's very obvious that he is suffering from some kind of age-related cognitive decline. It is undeniable. He literally cannot get through 3 sentences on the same subject ever. Even when he has a teleprompter, he's messing up all over the place. And we're not talking about just mixing up words. These are huge fuck-ups, okay? He's not getting better. Joe Biden could not carry this out. The only rational decision for the Democratic Party was to say, all right, Joe, it's time to hang up the hat. You got to put somebody else there. Now, there's a lot of room to criticize the Democratic Party, and I will. The Democratic Party knew this was the case. They definitely knew there were issues with Joe Biden, but they couldn't act sooner. And of course, Joe Biden, being the head of the Democratic Party at this particular moment, did not do a very good job setting up in the case of him not being able to finish the job. It should have been very obvious and realistic for any thinking person that Joe Biden had risks. At 81 years old, even if you were in perfect health, even if you were in perfect function, there are just simply risks at 81 years old. If you fall over and hurt yourself at 81 years old, that can be a gruesome recovery process. That's just a reality of aging, okay? It is not easy to bounce back if you fall over and break a glass hip at age 81. The fact that Joe Biden did not have like any real seeming plan and that it came to this, that it came down to approaching the line of the election this close, is an indictment of the entire Democratic Party. But at least he made the right decision. At least he made the right decision. The other thing that there's a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Kamala Harris and about Kamala Harris being the new nominee. And there's a lot of things you could say and concerns that people can have about Kamala Harris, but I need people to just understand, Joe Biden can't campaign. Right now, we don't know how long it's even going to be until he's recovered from COVID, and he can't be on the campaign trail. Even if Kamala Harris got COVID tomorrow, Kamala Harris could be back on the campaign trail in no time because she's 59 and not 81. Kamala Harris can campaign. Even if it were true that she had a disadvantage, which I have not seen any polling showing that Kamala Harris has a significant or even existent disadvantage. In fact, most of the polling that I've seen shows that Kamala Harris polls favorably over Trump. But even if she had a disadvantage, the fact that she can spend the next few months on the campaign trail, energetically making a case, arguing against Donald Trump, actually debating and not having a mental shutdown, those all are so much more important than even a point or two of polling. Joe Biden should never have even struggled in the polls against Donald Trump, not even a little bit. Everyone knew that this should have been an election that was in the bag for Joe, and Joe has fumbled. Donald Trump is despised in America. He has his cult, and that's it. The general populace of America does not like or trust Donald Trump. This should have been an in-the-bag election. He's a loser. He's a known loser. Donald Trump already lost an election, and then he cried about it for 4 years. That's not going to fly unless you have a candidate that literally can't talk. I am somebody who has been of the position that Joe Biden is basically one of the only candidates who could really truly lose against Donald Trump. Joe Biden, it was a deflating force. And what's even worse, and this is something that you don't see a lot of people talking about, but Joe Biden was beginning to negatively affect congressional races. He was hurting other Democrats because it was giving the impression that the Democratic Party didn't have a plan. That's bad. If he lost against Donald Trump and him staying in the race gave the impression that the Democratic Party doesn't have a plan to the point that it impacted congressional races, and Donald Trump went into office with Project 2025 in tow with the entire control of the Congress, do you know how disastrous that would be? Do you know how disastrous that would be for immigrants in this country, for trans people in this country, for homeless people in this country? Do you know just how bad that would be? A true dictatorship. complete control of the Supreme Court, majority control of the Congress, and control of the White House. Nightmare. And Joe Biden made the right decision in this particular case. Because Joe Biden can't carry that weight on his shoulder. Now, it is still possible that Kamala Harris loses. It is possible that it's too little too late, that enough people have already checked out of the election. But I would rather gamble on somebody who can actually campaign, on somebody who polls well, on somebody who can finish a sentence, on somebody who has the ability to energize a base, than throw our chances to the wind on somebody who has already demonstrated that for over a month and a half now cannot make a public appearance without a genuinely upsetting fuck up. Okay? And when I say upsetting, like, I want you to understand that the normies out there, the people who aren't super politically involved, what they see is they see memes of Joe Biden staring into the camera like he's seeing a ghost and then saying something nonsensical. That is all that's getting filtered out, okay? It's clippable moments. And Joe Biden's clippable moments are genuinely upsetting. They are upsetting in the way that witnessing somebody suffering from Alzheimer's is upsetting. And that's what's getting out to the normies right now. All of the vote blue no matter who people are going to vote blue no matter who. So I don't understand what the cope is all about. Except for the fact that a lot of people talked a real big game. A lot of people were throwing a lot of shit around. There was a lot of really over-the-line trash talk over the last couple of months. There was a lot of explicitly telling you to your face that you're an idiot and that you're wrong when you point out the fact that you just watched Joe Biden lose his train of thought and then claim that he defeated Medicaid. But, you know, we always want to be gracious. We always want to be very gracious to the people who were so invested in their own fucking careers that they were willing to send America up the river. Just keep in mind that the Democrats, including these riding with Biden people, have been screaming about how Donald Trump is the end of democracy. And yet when push came to shove, suddenly democracy didn't seem to matter that much to them. What seemed to matter was their cozy positions, their high horse. But guess what? Joe Biden stepped down, motherfuckers. He's out. Joe Biden stepped down. So are you going to get with the flow, or are you going to be left behind? It's Jover. Can you cope with it being Jover? Are you ready for a real fight? Huh? Anyway, that's how we beat Medicaid. I'm happy to be able to announce that we won, folks. Remember, just a couple of weeks, some of you will remember. There's a lot of you here. But a couple of weeks ago, I told you this was the time of the imp. That we have an advantage in that we haven't been deluding ourselves for months and months and months about Joe Biden. That we've been having an honest conversation about Joe Biden here. That we've been criticizing Joe Biden for his mistakes in foreign policy. We've been criticizing the Democratic Party for their complete inability to actually address the situation with Donald Trump. That we've been talking about politics from a super electoral lens. That our frame of politics is to look beyond the electoral. To not simply hyperfixate and throw all of our money behind the Democratic Party. Well, guess what? I was frickin' right. It's the time of the imps. And are you an imp? If you've enjoyed this, please press subscribe down below. Press subscribe if you want to send a very nice, very gracious package of dirt directly into the face of the most smug assholes of all time. Sorry. Sorry, I lost my cool there. If you want to send a bundle of love into people who are hurting very, very, very hard in these times, make sure that you press like and subscribe down below. And of course, you can expect from me that we're going to have a continuation of the anti-gaslighting zone. That of course, we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep talking about what Kamala Harris does right, what Kamala Harris does wrong, what we can do in case the Democratic Party still finds a way to screw everything up. And guess what? They've done it before. It's definitely a very nice day because for once, something remotely good, way overdue, but something remotely good happened. And that's a positive thing. We should celebrate that positive thing. But here, we're not going to forget what the big picture is. All right? Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed.